Okay, in this video, I need to talk about the way methods handle arguments that get passed to it, because people often get confused about what's happening with variables that gets passed in. So I'm going to create a new method that doesn't return anything, right? I'm going to call it change number, right? And I'm going to pass it and one integer, num1, right? So I don't need this. I don't need to return anything, right? And this line I don't need. Okay, so change number is going to accept. So let me get rid of all this down here. Don't need any of that. Okay. Don't need x and y in total. Okay, so we really simplified this to show this point. So change number is going to take the number, whatever value gets passed in, and it's just going to say num1 equals 99. That's all it's going to do. It's going to assign 99 to num1, right? And if I print out num1, right, num1 is now 99. Okay, or no, sorry, is now num1, right? All right. So if I run this code after calling it, right, if I say, change number, and I pass it 5, right, it's going to pass a 5 in, but I'm just going to overwrite that with a 99, right? So let's run this code, right? I run it, and it says num1 is now 99. Okay. Now, people don't get confused yet, but they get confused when I do the next step. So let's say I have a variable here called int x, right? And before I make a call to change num, I say x equals 5, and I pass in x. Okay, now, some confusion arises now because I'm passing in x, which has a value of 5, right? It's coming in here. But then I'm saying num1 is 99, and I even print it out to show it is. And a lot of people think when we get back from this method, the value of x is, they get confused with what x is going to have a value. Some people say, well, I took 99 and I overwrote this variable with 99, so now x is 99 when I print it out. And let's see what happens. It went in to the method and num1 got printed out as 99. That's this line here. Then it comes back from the method and it prints out the value of x is 5. And you're like, wait, I changed this to 99. You did not change the variable x to 99, because when change number gets called, before it gets into this method, this x is no longer there. X got replaced by 5. So a 5 got passed into this new variable, num1. X is not known at all. The variable x is not known at all in this method. So the variable didn't change. This variable did not change at all. The only variable that changed is the one that's declared inside of this change num, which is num1. And it gets even more confusing, and you'll see these on some tests. They'll name this num1. They'll say num1 equals 5, and then I'll pass num1 here, and then the value of num1 is x, is num1, right? And a lot of new Java students will say, oh, when this line prints out, num1 is 99, because look, I set it to 99 here. In reality, you have two different num1 variables. And this gets into the scope of the variable. This num1 variable, the one I declared here, is only known between those brackets, right? This num1 variable is only known between these brackets. So when I was setting 99 into num1 here, that's a different variable, happens to have the same name, but it's a different variable than the num1 that's in this method. So this gets into some more complicated discussions about how variables get passed into methods. And they get passed by value. And what does that mean? That means that before change number got called here, num1, I obtained the value of it, which was 5, and I only passed the 5 into this method. It knows nothing about this variable. This is true for all methods that get called in Java that use native types of variables. For the most part, there are exceptions. But so if you pass an integer, it passes by value. You pass a float, it's by value, a char, etc. The only exception we're going to come into later on, and we're not going to do this yet, is when we get into arrays. When we pass arrays, which you'll learn about in the future, into methods, and I make a change to that array, kind of like something like that, then that array would be changed back in the method that calls it. But for now, when you pass something to a method, even if you change it in the method, it is not going to be changed in the method, in main or in the method that calls it. So that's the important part to remember for this tutorial.